Hey ladies. Alright, I don't have a lot. Again, I'm in the middle of a 2 weeks that I can't change anything, so I've got a whole another week to go. But just to update, just because I know y'all are following along with this journey, not that you're like totally interested in how it's going for me, but if anything else, it's for me to be able to go back and look at. So, this week, I gained 2 pounds from when I started the first week. So, or from last week. But I still have a 2.4, my nose is itching like crazy right now, but I still have a 2.4 pound loss for the 3 weeks that I've been tracking the weight. So what does that tell me? Well, we already know from last week I was on my way to starting my period. So that's probably some weight gain from that. Not to mention, as some of y'all know, I had some extra stressors this week. That raises cortisol, that can cause inflammation, that can cause water retention. There's all kind of things that could have gone on with my body that are not food related. But when I can look back and say, is there anything food related that maybe this week didn't go so well? I probably indulged a little too much on getting some sweets, and there was a couple days that I did go over my calories by more than just 100 or 2, like it was a good amount. Again, period and stress happened last week. Am I going to use that as an excuse? No, I'm going to go to God and say, okay, how can I respond better? Can you change my heart on that? Can you help me to say no to things that I know are not going to be good for me and really aren't going to give me comfort? It's just a habit, because I know it's not going to comfort me. So at this point, it's just breaking that habit. So again, no shame. Shame off. I'm not going to wallow around in any shame. I'm going to wallow around in grace, and I'm going to learn, and I'm going to grow. What I can say I've noticed, even though I'm showing a gain, I'm actually feeling in my clothes, not a whole lot, but I'm feeling a bit of difference. And so, well, that's from the working out and things kind of getting a little tighter and rearranging, inside, or whatever. But I'm not worried so much that I showed a gain this week. Now, if I go into next week and I show either another gain or still no loss, if I don't lose that 2 pounds next week, then not only am I like past my 2 weeks and I can make some changes then, but it might be time to look and say, okay, let me look at the data and see what's going on. But because I've done this before, because I've tracked my weight before, I already know from previous data that I have gathered. Look, I'm a QC person. I look at data. So I've looked at that data before. I know, like either the week before or the week of my period, I'm going to put on, sometimes I've been known to put on about 5 pounds. So I'm not worried about it. I understand because I've done this before. I know what that is. So going into next week, and again, I'm in no rush. It's like it was kind of part of my lesson today with the youth. We were talking about Saul, and he made this rash vow for the Israelites to have to fast, and anybody who broke the fast would have to die, like they would be cursed. So, but the thing is, right in the middle of this, Saul calling this fast that he had no right to make. He had no right to put this on the people. It was legalism at its worst. He had no right to do it, but they're in the middle of battling the Philistines when they would need nourishment the most. And God didn't call for them to fast. Now, if God would have called them into the fast, if Samuel would have showed up on the scene and said, y'all are going to fast until there's a victory here, God would have provided their strength. They wouldn't have gone weak. They wouldn't have been faint. They wouldn't have been weary, because God called them in, and they were being obedient to God. But Saul, being the king, they still were obedient to him because he was king. We're told, respect your authority, right? So they're following Saul. Saul is supposed to be following God, but he's not. And he puts this rash rule on them, and it hurts them in the end, and they do grow faint. They still have the victory, thanks to the Lord, but they were faint, they were weary, they were starving to death, and at the end they ended up killing the ox and the calves and eating the meat right there on the ground without draining the blood first. Now we know back in Deuteronomy, God clearly stated, you cannot eat meat with the blood still in it. The blood was very important. It had to be drained. And then you eat it. Of course, maybe cook it first as well. So now they're sinning against God because of this legalistic vow that Saul has put on them. They're starving to death, and they finally can eat, but they didn't. Now they're sinning against God because they're not waiting to do it the right way. They're just, give me the food, we can finally eat. So think of it that way as we're going into getting this health journey. It's not even a weight loss journey, it is a health journey. Does God want us skinny, or does he want us healthy? Because we can make some rash vows, right? We can make some rules to be so legalistic to hurry up and just be skinny. Is that what God is calling you to do? Do you know you're going to grow weary? You're going to be faint. You're going to lose all your joy. See, they had just had a victory, and they didn't even get to rejoice in the victory because they had to go right into a fast that Saul had called them to do. They're going right into hunger. They didn't get to rejoice in anything. God wants you to rejoice. So this is not going to be, let me hurry up and see how skinny I can get and how quick I can get there. Let me get beach body ready, or whatever the case is. Let me lose all this weight for this wedding. And it's okay to have a weight loss goal. Don't hear me say something I'm not saying. But let's do this healthy, right? Which means we don't rush. We don't go into this making these really strict rules. Do I have some boundaries set up? Yes. And God is starting to lay some more boundaries on me that he's also telling me to be quiet about. So I'm not going to be able to tell you. And I feel like he's telling me be quiet until it's done. And the only reason I can think that he would say that is because my boundaries are not your boundaries. So if I do this and I lose the weight, then you're going to make it a rule for you. This is the boundaries God is giving to me specifically. So this is my encouragement to you. Get your boundaries from the Lord. Maybe he'll also tell you don't speak on it until it's done. But know that God does not care if you are skinny. He wants you healthy. And health can come in different shapes and sizes. Okay, so again, don't hear something I'm not saying. If we are in an obese state, our body is suffering and we need health. But go to God with that. And however quick he gets you down to a healthy place is however quick he does it. Be patient. Have grace on yourself because he's pouring it out on you. Why in the world would you go wallow in shame if he's pouring out grace on you? So let's continue this journey. Again, I don't know what all y'all are tracking. Anything you want to share, please feel free. If you want to do your own video and post on it, feel free to do that, please. This is your group. I'm just the most vocal in it, really. I mean, I'm learning as I go as well. And I've learned from past experiences. I have learned from the years that I have been going to God with this situation. I have some training with Revelation Wellness. But I'm still learning how to navigate this because here is my goal. Here is what I want, and I believe this is what God wants for me and for all of us. I want a good relationship with food. I want a good relationship with movement. I want a good relationship with my body. Somewhere along the way, that got messed up. But it is available to me. All I have to do is lay down the lesser thing of just wanting to be skinny and vanity and prideful of my body. I just got to lay it down and open my hands back up to receive the greater thing that he has for me, the health, the longevity, which again, it's not adding years to my life, but it's adding life to my years. And I can be as skinny as a beanpole, and if I don't do it a healthy way, guess what? I do not have life to my years. I'm too worried about staying skinny as a beanpole. I don't want that focus anymore. I just want to be healthy, enjoy food in its proper place, and let it bring me health and nourishment. So that's where I am with God right now, where I've been. And my next week, I'm still the same. I'm still tracking my food. I can say I feel like God is leaning in a little more on, I don't have to worry so much about trying to get the 145 grams of protein, because when I'm finding trying to hit that high of a goal, sometimes I overeat just to try to get the protein. And that's not the point of this, right? So I am looking to eat protein-rich food. I'm also adding in some leafy greens by suggestion from my doctor to help get my iron. And I noticed this week when I did that, my appetite wasn't quite as bad as it was before. So look, if your body feels like, if you ever feel like your appetite is out of control, like get with God or get with the doctor or something, find out what you're lacking. Because the only reason why your body is really amping up an appetite is one of two things. It's either because you're eating too much of the processed food that is hijacking your brain and making you addicted and making you want more, or you're lacking some kind of nutrient and your body is trying to tell you. So it's amping up your appetite. Even if you just ate and you're like, I'm still hungry, I want some more, it's very possible your body is lacking in some kind of nutrient. And if you just up that, then it starts to settle down because it's getting what it needs. Your body is doing what it was created to do, and that's to make you survive. And if we listen to our bodies and we go to God with it, not only will our body make us survive, but we will thrive. Because God did not make us a people to just survive. He made us a people to thrive. All right, that's all I got for you guys today. Love you, mean it. See you later.